Welcome to the July 22nd, 2025 Millbrae City Council meeting. I'd like to call this meeting to order at 7 p.m. Acting City Clerk, would you please do a roll call for us, please?
Councilmember Nguyen.
Here.
Councilmember Riley.
Here.
Councilmember Rinaldi.
Present.
Vice Mayor Holabird.
Present.
Mayor Fung.
Here.
All council members are present.
Thank you. And for those who are able, would you please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you, and please be seated. Tonight, we begin our meeting with the ceremonial presentation proclaiming September 1st as Labor Day. And whereas the first Monday in September is recognized across the United States as Labor Day, a national tribute to the strength, prosperity, and well-being brought forth by the contributions of American workers. And whereas the city of Millbrae is proud to honor the dedication, the skill, and the hard work of the individuals who power our local economy, care for our community, educate our youth, protect our neighborhoods, and provide essential services every day. And whereas the labor force in Millbrae comprised of public servants, small business owners, healthcare workers, educators, tradespeople, service employees, and countless others, embodies the value of determination, innovations, and resilience. Whereas this day offers an opportunity to recognize the historical and ongoing efforts of the labor movement to ensure fair wages, safe workplaces, and dignity in employment for all. And whereas we encourage all residents to take this time to reflect on the achievements of the American workforce and celebrate the contribution that have made Millbrae a vibrant and thriving community. Now, therefore, we, the member of the Millbrae City Council, do hereby proclaim September 1st as Labor Day. And thank you for joining us today. We have our Teamster representative from 856, Mr. Mark Leach.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. It's always a pleasure to be here in Millbrae at this moment, knowing that you are properly recognizing Labor Day in advance of the day, preparing as it is. This evening, I asked a few members of the Teamsters 856 bargaining unit to attend the meeting. There's some sitting at the table here and others in the audience, but I know there are workers all over the city, including those folks doing law enforcement and firefighting in this fine city. So on behalf of all people who work, thank you.
And thank you very much for continuing supporting City Hall and organizing our members, making our city great every day. Anyone else on the council have any comments? If none, would you like to join us for a photo opportunity? Please. Everybody. Thanks, everybody, and thank you, Teamster. And item number 2, we have agenda overview and staff briefing. We have calendar of events and bills and claims, and also if I can have City Manager, please do a report out on July 8th, closed session, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. There is no reportable action from the July 8th closed session.
Any agenda overview and staff briefing, please.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, thank you to you. Good evening, City Council. Tom Williams, City Manager. A couple of things. There was an email that I sent out a little earlier today, and just to bring everybody up to date, that this afternoon, Central County Fire Department responded to a grass fire between Highway 101 and Bayside Manor Park. The cause of the fire was due to a construction truck hitting a low power line. that then blew a transformer, and the sparks from the transformer started a grass fire. Thankfully, CCFD responded. They knocked down the fire within about 30 minutes, and an area of about 200 by 200 feet was extinguished. Smoke, since it's near Highway 101, highly visible. It may be on the news. I think there was a news helicopter that was flying around, but very minor. It was caused by a construction vehicle that hit a power line, a transformer sparked and caused a grass fire. But hats off to CCFD and their quick response and knocking down this fire. Also, I wanted to announce 3 promotions recently. The first is Annabelle Acosta. You may know Annabelle. She's been with the city for a few years in our Environmental Services Division over in Public Works and Engineering. Annabelle is replacing Justine Bleeker as our second IPO, or PIO, Public Information Officer in the city. Annabelle is an outstanding employee for the city, and I'm just thrilled that she's agreed to join us over in the city manager's office and administration as our Public Information Officer. So congratulations to Annabelle. The second is the promotion of Nicole Wang from admin assistant to management assistant in the city manager's office. Nicole is multilingual, very talented. She does an outstanding job for us, and this is a well-deserved promotion for Nicole, and she's just an outstanding member of our management team. So congratulations to Nicole. And then lastly, Jennifer Lim in our community development department was promoted from assistant planner to associate planner. Jennifer's been with us. She started out as an intern when she graduated from college, became a junior planner, then assistant planner, is now promoted to associate planner. Again, a top-notch employee, does a great job for us, and we're really happy to have these 3 internal promotions within the city. So congratulations to all 3 of these employees. All right, for events coming up. Saturday, August 2nd. This is, I think, the 3rd or 4th time that we've partnered with Chinese Hospital here in the Bay Area for Millbrae Health Fair. As you can see on the display, blood pressure, glucose screening, BMI, bone density, hepatitis B. There will be physicians attending that you can ask questions, vision screening, hearing screening. It's just a fantastic health fair in partnership with Chinese Hospital. That will be held at the Millbrae Recreation Center, Saturday, August 2nd from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So this is another great event in partnership with the city. Next, we continue with our monthly movie, Outdoors at Central Park. The next movie is Friday, August 8th, Kung Fu Panda 4. I haven't seen it, but I hear it's good. So I may get a blanket and go. But the movie starts at sunset, right around 8:15. It's always a great event for the kids. Outdoors, popcorn machine, and a great movie out under the stars. Next, very important project coming up, the launch and reactivation of the Mills Estates Park planning process. We have 2 community meetings. The first is Saturday, August 9th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. This will be out at the park itself. Our landscape design team will be there, city staff will be there to get information, start with the needs assessment and analysis, and share some of the concepts that we came up with. I think it was circa 2019, 2020, and we will unveil some of those designs and certainly get feedback. So these are important meetings for the community to attend so we can get as much feedback as possible. There's the second meeting then on Thursday evening, September 4th, 6 to 9 p.m. That will be held at the Millbrae Recreation Center. So if you missed Saturday, August 9th, there's a second chance, September 4th from 6 to 9. And then we have our third Thursday, known as Beats, Brews, and Vines, our downtown concert series starting at 6 p.m., goes to 6 to 8. We have a great band. They played for us before by the name of Pride and Joy. So there's music, drinks, dancing, and come down and support our local restaurants along Broadway and in the area, and just have a great time and hear some great music. So 6 to 8 p.m., Beats, Brews, and Vines on Hillcrest and Broadway in downtown. And then lastly, just to put it on your radar, the 2025 Millbrae Art and Wine Festival, 54th annual, is scheduled for August 30th and 31st. This is Labor Day weekend in downtown Millbrae on Broadway. And this is the annual event that is well attended. And so just to put that on everybody's radar, August 30th and 31st, Saturday and Sunday, the Millbrae Art and Wine Festival. So that concludes an update of what's happening, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much, City Manager Tom Williams. With that said, we also have the approval of minutes. We don't have anything on the agenda tonight for approval of minutes, and neither do we have any oral report from the city committees and commission chair. Moving on to public communications. This is the portion of the agenda reserved for those who wish to comment on any item not appearing on tonight's agenda. However, a speaker must address subject matter within the jurisdictions of the city council. Every speaker will have 3 minutes, and the speaker is to address directly to the council, not individual members of the public. Do we have any speaker slips this evening?
No speaker slips or hands raised.
Thank you very much. Closing public communication. And moving on to consent calendar. We have item 5, receive and file monthly general fund financial report for the period ending June 30th, 2025. Item 6, waive the second reading and adopt an ordinance amending section 105020 of the Millbrae Municipal Code regarding code enforcement and citing authority. Item 7, adoption of a resolution authorizing the city manager or designee to execute an amendment with the county of San Mateo to provide police services in an amount not to exceed $10,336,696 for the period of July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2026. Item number 8, adoption of a resolution accepting the installations of EV charging station at the Millbrae Corporation Yard as complete and authorizing the filing of a notice of completion with the San Mateo County Recorder's Office. Item 9, adoption of a resolution awarding a construction contract to GSW, Golden State Warriors, the construction for the digester and sludge lane rehabilitation project in the amount of $927,860, establishing a project contingency of $139,179 for a total project budget not to exceed $1,067,039, and authorizing the city manager designee to execute all contract document up to the project budget and finding the project exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act. Item 10, adoption of resolution approving the tentative agreement for a successor memorandum of understanding with Teamster 856 miscellaneous units and approving the tentative agreement for a successor memorandum of understanding with Teamster Local 856 sanitation unit, and also adopting the related revised salary schedule effective July 1st, 2025. Item 11, approval of a request from the Millbrae Culture Committee for the use of Recreation Center, Greg Hall Fitness Center, and the first floor hallway and lobby parking spaces in the rec center parking lot, and fee adjustment and waivers for the community gathering on May 30th, 2026. Does anyone want to pull any item from the consent calendar? Nobody? Actually, I would actually like to have the item number 7, just to have a little briefing, a little discussion. It'll probably be worth the public's consumption. And then, if nothing else, is there any public comment on any items?
No public comment or hands raised.
Okay, very well. So, polling item 7, we got 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Do we have any motion to approval? We have a motion from Councilmember Rinaldi and a second from Councilmember Nguyen. Final comments? Your votes, please.
Items number 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, and 11 passed by the vote of 5-0.
Thank you very much. Item 7, City Manager, if you can just kind of give us a high level, just for the purpose of, for the benefit of the public.
Sure.
How we're spending, $10 million just for the price tag, but also obviously, working with the county sheriff's office and all public safety services as well on this item, if you can please.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'll invite Mr. Mike Sung, our finance director, up to the podium. And then also Bureau Chief Eamon Allen is here to answer any questions that you may have as well. So as you know, we contract with with San Mateo County Sheriff's Office for all of our police services. We have 2 deputies that patrol the city per shift. We also have an augmentation of services. As the city council knows, our downtown foot patrol officer that's augmented, some of the beat services. Also, our traffic enforcement officer. There's 3 sergeants that we have, 4 sergeants that we have that supervise. And with the contract and the increase and percentage increase from year to year, I'll have our finance director, Mr. Mike Sung, brief you on that.
Perfect. Director Sung.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Honorable Vice Mayor, and Honorable City Council members. So for the contract for the San Mateo County Sheriff's Office, we've had this contract with them for quite some time. This is the 17th Amendment. In regards to the actual costs, I know that the amount is $10.3 million, but we actually do get a $1.6 million credit from them for our unfunded actual liability. It's actually $8.7 million after you reduce it with the credit. That's the actual amount that we pay the San Mateo County for this law enforcement services. Year to year, if we're looking at an increase from last year to this year, I believe it was about 8.3 to 8.7 now, so it's approximately 5 to 6%. It's a pretty nominal amount. And they do provide, as City Manager Williams mentioned, pretty extensive services, which is 21.45 FTEs, including a captain. I believe we have 10 sheriff's deputies, motorcycle deputy as well, and a couple of sergeants as well. So we also have, I believe, a legal analyst, not legal analyst, excuse me, a management analyst. Thank you, Chief. A management analyst as well as 1.5 CSOs or community service officers. So it's a very extensive suite of services that we actually receive from the San Mateo County Sheriff's Office. I'll be happy to answer any questions, or the chief can explain a little bit better as to any other comparisons you would like to hear.
Excellent. Any questions from this council? My question is, just obviously thank you, Chief, and also the entire Sheriff's Office for having contract with us. How many years now? It's over since 2012?
2012.
13 years of service, and we obviously have been getting great service from the county sheriff. Have we ever done any kind of a need assessment or revising our assessment as we have a growing city? We have increase in population. We've been growing leaps and bounds. Also, our business community as well. We've now have the life science with Gateway and all this new daytime and permanent populations coming in. Have we thought about doing, on a regular basis, need assessment, cost analysis on all public safety, not just the police, but as well as fire and everything else?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, that's a great question, and Mike and I analyze the cost benefit, frequently, and something that we have, and we'll be bringing it back to the City Council first or second meeting in September, is an analysis of what our needs are on a per population, per capita basis to make sure that we have, both in CCFD, Central County Fire, and with the Sheriff's Office, enough staffing based on our growing population, daytime, as well as resident population, and analysis of what we need to continue to serve, our growing city.
Absolutely, and I think, obviously with the new ordinances that we have, we've increased our public safety, putting more tools in our toolbox, ensuring that the city is as safe as it can be, and then at the same time, we do have a growing city, daytime population, residential population. We owe it to our constituency to, on a regular basis, looking at our need assessment, perhaps more deputies and, different public safety services, and then making sure that we're providing the coverages that is required for a growing city. So sometime in September, we'll have some updates?
Yeah, we'll be bringing a contract to actually study this, Mr. Mayor, because again, Millbrae, 23,000 population for a number of years, but now with the rooftops forecasted, additional development, plus now our growing daytime population, we need to make sure that we have enough, again, resources to serve the community, obviously safely and competitively.
Yeah, providing the adequate coverage, it's what we need. And time to, the service call, right? Making sure that we're responding within the timeline. Today, we're thankful of the CCFD who, the firefighters did an excellent job putting out a fire in the east side of El Camino Real with the transformer accident. So it just goes to show how important these coverages are so that we can provide these services in a timely manner. So thank you for bringing that need assessment back. Any other questions or comment from this council? If, Vice Mayor?
Yeah, thank you. Can you just briefly explain the CalPERS adjustment, the 1.6 million credit?
So the CalPERS adjustment is the unfunded actual liability. It's how much you've owed for previous employees that have actually retired based off of the pension. Now, San Mateo County actually is off of a different retirement system. And so as part of our contract, we actually get credited the amount that we pay for the CalPERS unfunded actual liability. It's for next year, or excuse me, for this current fiscal year, 25-26, that amounts $1.6 million. So that actually gets subtracted from the contract amount.
So that was essentially like an overpayment then by the city years ago? Or?
Oh, no, this gets subtracted out pretty much each and every year that I can recall back. We've basically gotten credited this because the San Mateo County Sheriff's Office contributes to separate retirement
So
systems.
Samsara? Or,
Yeah, Samsara.
Okay. All right, thank you.
All right, any other questions, comments? If not, I'll make a motion to approve. So we have a second from Vice Mayor Holliper. Any other final comment, questions? Your votes, please, ladies and gentlemen.
Item number 7 passes with a vote of 5-0.
Thank you, Director, and thank you, Chief, for joining us today. All right, a public hearing, we don't have any items this evening. Moving on to existing business, item number 12, self-help for the elderly semi-annual update and approval of a fee waiver of $61,127.12 in rental fees for the use of the David Chikuti Community Room and funding in the amount of $10,000 for the self-help for the elderly for a one-year period ending June 30th, 2026, and to continue the senior lunch program for 5 days a week. Mr. City Manager.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I'd like to introduce our Recreation Director, Ms. Hannah Moran, for a staff presentation. We also have Karen Lamb from Self-Help for the Elderly. She's the Director of Nutrition and Senior Centers that will be part of the presentation. So welcome, Karen.
Yes, thank you. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and City Council members. I'm actually going to turn it directly over to Karen to start, to just give you an update on the last 6 months happening, or January through June of this year.
Thank you for joining us, Karen.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's good to see all of you. Thank you. Okay. I am just, you've seen a lot of these slides before, but of course the numbers are different because we're working with January through June. So as you know, we have been working, we serve seniors 60 and over, and we do hot meals and activities 5 days a week. We do physical wellness classes, we do educational, recreational, we also have special events and field trips. We provide nutrition education, and we do it either individually or to the group as a whole. Next, please. We also have home-delivered meals. So this year, meaning January through June, we had Second Course, which is a federally funded program, and we served home-delivered meals in the North County, and 4 of those residents are from Millbrae. Next slide. So currently, 73 new clients joined the senior lunch program, and then 28 Millbrae residents, and 45 of them were from neighboring cities. We had we still had more workshops and birthday and holiday celebrations. Next slide. This just shows the demographics of the lunch program, and generally, as you can see, we have more Millbrae participants than those from other cities. Next slide. This is our congregate meals program, and again, we have a lot of Millbrae residents coming to our program, and the numbers have been going up just incrementally. Next slide. These are the activities and classes that we have at the center, and the most popular classes, and I would say this probably at a lot of the senior centers, are the dance classes. So we have 1,621 in total attendance, but it is followed by chair exercise and karaoke. So that to me also means that we have a range of age groups that come to the senior center. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. We have a lot of health workshops, and I will say that many of them our seniors are actually very, very interested in them. So anytime we have different health workshops that come up that people bring to our attention, then we will try to get them, have them do a presentation at our center. Next slide. These are just going to be some photos from the activities and classes. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. This was, we had 5 super seniors, which are 90 and above from Millbrae, that were honored at our San Mateo Spring Banquet just a few months ago. And this was an outing, a special outing that Alex took the seniors to a field trip to San Francisco, and they went on the Ferris wheel, that observational Ferris wheel over in Fisherman's Wharf, and they had a great time, because I'm pretty sure that most of them have been on a Ferris wheel for quite a long time.
Neither have I.
Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. I will add that our daily meal participation is about 45. Although we are contracted for 5,500 meals for the year, and that means that normally we can only serve 20 to 22 a day. But we have been regularly having, double that number come to our senior center. The participants, I would say that's an average, because the numbers fluctuate anywhere between 40 and let's say 65, 70, depending on what the meal is, and 2, what activity we have also during that day. Special events have been able to actually have increased the numbers to like 90. And we have even though for the funding, we have a lot less funding for that, we've tried not to turn people away, but it has been difficult. I said by June, actually, we overserved by about 730 people, even when we were increased, because we were increased by the County of San Mateo as well. So it has been, we are looking, we're hoping actually that you will be able to help us provide some more funding so that we can serve more seniors. Or, as we all know, that this year is difficult for everybody, so we are trying to think of different ways in which we can still keep up the numbers that are already coming and serve them as much as we can. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you very much. And so with that, staff is recommending tonight that the City Council receive this report from Self-Help for the Elderly for their semi-annual update, and then approve the fee waiver of $61,127.12 in rental fees for the use of the David J. Chakotay Community Room, and provide funding in the amount of $10,000 for self-help for the elderly for a 1-year period, which is ending June 30th, 2026. And this would help to continue the senior lunch program 5 days a week. So, and as you can see from Karen's presentation, it is a highly utilized program here in Millbrae, specifically helping our seniors. And just for one moment, I just wanted to recognize Alex, who is in the audience, who is here daily with our seniors. So thank you.
Thank you, Hannah. And thank you, Karen. Thank you, Alex, for joining us. I just cannot say thank you enough for self-help for the elderly. 50s, close to 60 years coming up, I think, as an organization. And you take your volunteers, you take your food, you take your resources, and you come to Millbrae and you serve our seniors. And this request of waivers and contributions ought to augment the resources and all the love that you bring to our seniors and be able to have them, look forward to their gathering every day in our, not only the senior center, but as well as the recreation center. It's just heartwarming to see. I got the opportunity to be invited to some of the major events, New Year's and Mother's Days, and keep seeing, seniors one after another with their happy faces. And the super seniors too, especially when their birthday dinner. I remember at least I met a couple of them that are over 100 years old. And just seeing their smiley faces and coming over and be able to see all their friends, and some of them bring their kids and grandkids to celebrate with them is just very heartwarming. So I just cannot say enough how thankful we are as a city to have self-help partnering with us. Again, taking your resources, your volunteer, your food, and serving our people every day. As I look forward to become a senior at some point, I just hope that we can continue this program for another, as long as we can, so that we can continue to serve more people who, make Millbrae great and contribute to our community. Thank you very much. Anyone else on this council? Councilmember Riley.
Thank you, Hannah, Karen, and all our city staff make this happen and take care of our senior. Set a good example for our generation to come. I won't be afraid of getting old. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Rinaldi.
Thanks, Mayor Fung. Just want to thank Self-Help for the elderly for all the work you do throughout our community and our neighboring communities all throughout California. It's absolutely amazing to see the volume of lunches that you serve and the smiles on the faces of those that attend those events, thinking that some of these people live by themselves, are lonely, and yet this event, 5 days a week, brings them together with other members in the community. So I can't speak highly enough of the work you do and how selfless it really is. So thank you very much.
Anyone else? Mr. Vice Mayor?
Yeah, thank you for the presentation and for all the work you do in the community. This has been a great program. It's been very successful and has grown over the years from 1 day to 3 days to 5 days a week. That being said, it is a fairly large amount of money, the $61,000 that is being asked, in terms of potential revenue that potentially could be received by the city. So in terms of, it's my understanding that if there are events, this is generally not the busiest time for the Charcuterie Room, but that Self-Help could relocate if there are events scheduled at the Charcuterie Room at that time.
Yes, thank you for that question. And Self-Help has been very accommodating with that. And so if we request to use the David J. Charcuterie Room during these times, as you mentioned, it is during the weekdays, so it's not happening on the weekend when rentals are the most popular. But if the city does need the David J. Charcuterie Room for a different use, oftentimes Self-Help will move over to the library. We have not had to completely displace them for most of the days, but we do sometimes request for moving over to the library, and they are very accommodating with that. So
Okay.
thank you for that.
Okay, thank you. But if I were to go on the city, website and try to reserve the jacuzzi room at these hours? Are you able to book it or is it blocked off?
It would be blocked off. You can still put in a request. Yes, so if it's just a rental from a community member, we would still take the request and look at it and see if there's something we can do to accommodate if it was coming from the community member for those times.
And then self-help, you do all your own setup and cleanup and all of that? Is that correct? So there's no kind of staff work needed other than opening the door?
Yeah, great question as well. We have facility attendants that are staffed for different rentals, different classes, for the recreation center as well as the David J. Chakuti. So when we can accommodate and help with some setup of the chairs and tables, we do that. But self-help is responsible for cleaning up. All the cleanup is done by them for anything that they bring in for the day and any of the activities that they have.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Mayor. Anyone else? Council member.
Thank you for the presentation. It's pretty great to see that we have self-help work with our seniors. I just had some clarifying questions. Is this for only Millbrae or is it for people outside of Millbrae as well?
I'll let Karen answer a little bit more fully, but yes, we do also serve the surrounding neighborhoods. I think they're looking for a particular site. This is the best one here. You can see here that although there's 5,473 meals served, it is important to note that 3,483 of those are to Millbrae residents. So quite consistently, it usually is about 2/3 of the meals are going to Millbrae residents, and usually the other ones are neighboring cities in San Mateo County.
I see. So would it be fair to say the other cities you support have a similar breakup in like people outside the city and people inside the city?
When you're in other, yeah.
We have a center in San Mateo City, and we do get neighboring seniors from the other cities. And because we also receive, it's a big bulk of our funds is also from San Mateo County. So actually, pretty much anyone in San Mateo County can attend our centers.
I see, as well as our city as well.
Exactly.
Okay. Sounds good, thanks.
Anyone else? Councilmember Riley.
Thank you so much. I'm going to make a motion.
Okay, all right, I got you. All right, go ahead, Councilmember Rinaldi. We'll come back to that, Councilmember Riley.
Sure, I want to thank Vice Mayor Holliburr for bringing up the financials to highlight that, and also Councilmember Nguyen for your comments regarding participation, who's included in these services. I think this is a testament to Millbrae's commitment to serving the community. When you take a look at how many of these people and how many of these meals are served and Millbrae's commitment to this program, I think it's a testament that we really do give back and we're a very charitable community. So I just wanted to highlight that before we take the motion and the vote.
Okay, very well. We'll have a public comment. We'll get to that before we take the motion. But Karen, if I may, is it fair to say, so you mentioned a moment ago that the funding's a large portion of that also coming from the county of San Mateo. And then if we go back and look back and look at the chart, I guess we do contribute a certain amount of resources to this program, but we get to be able to host more than half of the folks that's being served the meal that are Millbrae residents, when actually vast majority of the resources that you received actually coming from County San Mateo, some also coming from various different County San Francisco. I know that they've contributed to a lot in self-help for the elderly, and a lot of that also from the California legislature. I remember back in the days during the COVID, I had a great conversation with Assemblymember Lowe, Assemblymember Phil Ting, and how the legislature has provided much of the funding to keep self-help operable throughout COVID. And so, with that said, I think Millbrae stands to, our seniors stand to benefit a lot from resources outside of the city. so that our senior gets a lot of the benefit. So thank you for addressing that comment. We'll take a public comment, and then we'll come back to the council. We'll start with Mayor Ancon. 3 minutes, please. Anyone else who wishes to speak can please turn in a speaker slip.
All council members. Okay. Actually, I do support self-help program. And my friend's mother went to the one in San Francisco. It's 100% free. They don't have to pay a dime or nothing. But I just happened to see a slide earlier saying that the average Millbrae senior is only 28 out of the 70 some of 90 some. The other cities was 45. So to me, it's just like the fairness. We open our arm to all senior from all over the county. And then a lot of them from South San Francisco, from San Bruno, and then maybe self-help can find the way to get those two cities also support some of the funding, because no matter what it is a waiver request. So we did not really put out money, but we had to put out $10,000. And then I'll just try to say is, I want the senior to have a happy time and then be healthy. But I just thought about it. I would like to advise self-help, try to go to other city to get some funding as well. Because I do receive the request from self-help wants money. They want us to donate more money, but I just think is, let's get a fair share, okay? And I have to kind of remember, Millbrae has to come first, and then we can take care of the others. But I do thank you for self-help's effort. They to put it together to bring a lot of senior happy time, but try to expand your search for funding. Thank you.
Thank you for the comment. Any other public comment on this item? I don't see any other speaker slips.
No speaker slips or hands raised.
Thank you so much. Closing public comment on item number 12. Bring it back to the council. Any further comments? Mr. Vice Mayor?
Sorry, one other question. And I'm sorry if you went over this, but do the participants, I believe at one point they were asked to maybe, there's sort of like a voluntary, like, fee per meal or something, like a nominal amount?
Yes, thank you for that. Karen will speak to that.
We do, we are asking for, we requested donation. We asked for a donation of $3 a meal.
Okay.
However, the meal box is protected, so it's not as if you can see who puts how much in there. So people put in whatever they feel comfortable giving.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Any further questions? Final comments? We'll take a motion. Okay, we have a motion from Councilmember Riley and a second from Councilmember Nguyen. Any final comments? Ladies and gentlemen, your votes, please.
Item number 12 passes with a vote of 5-0.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Self-Help, for year after year, week after week, to serve our senior. We cannot thank you enough. Okay, all right, moving on to item number 13, study session on Japanese garden concept to be located along the Spirit Trail at Magnolia Avenue. And City Manager, would you please?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I'd like to introduce our Community Development Director, Mr. Andy Mogensen. We also have Daniel Cunningham, who's on the design team with the SWA Group. He's a principal landscape architect with SWA that will also be part of the presentation, and he is joining us via Zoom.
Director.
Thank you. Good evening. Next slide, please. So tonight's item follows a long tradition of projects here in the city of Millbrae. Projects like our Master Grove, La Serena Plaza, and now we have tonight a work program of the Sister Cities Commission for the Japanese Garden. The Sister City Commission's mission is to promote a greater global understanding of other cultures and an international perspective and grow relationships with our sister cities and friendship cities through cultural and educational exchange programs. And tonight's project reflects that mission. The Japanese Garden project was adopted by the project that we're seeing tonight, the design project, was adopted by the City Council under Task 4 of their work program in 2024-25 fiscal year, and it's also in their current work program. And this is in recognition of a long-standing friendship city relationship we have with Hanyu, Japan. We have sister city relationships with La Serena, Chile, and Masta, Malta. We have friendship city relationships with Hanyu, Japan, Ramallah, Palestine, Taishan, China, and Tongguan, China. You can see in the next slide some images from all of the different programs that we've had and cultural exchanges over the years, as well as our annual Japanese festival, the olive tree that we planted at the rec center, cultural performances from our sister city in Chile. Our Masta Grove, of course, is a very well-known project along the spur trail with our sister city in Masta, Malta. So this is along the lines of that long-standing tradition that here in the city of Millbrae. Next slide. We're celebrating 20 years of friendship with Hanyu, Japan, and that's been an important relationship that we've had for a long time. See here with the two cities and the cultural exchanges, the similarities between these communities, and the mascots too. And Hanyu is known for their mascots and their mascot festival. And of course we have Millie the Frog. Next slide, please. So the Japanese Garden Project, through this effort, we tried to find a suitable site. And the project site was decided upon along the spur trail, just near Mills High School and just a little bit down from Masta Grove. And you can see here the graphic of where it's located in the grander scheme of things. And in the next slide, you can get a little bit more closer up image of where the site is located. It's along the south side of Millbrae Avenue to the corner of Magnolia. It extends down to the site that we identified extends along Millbrae Avenue in what is basically a linear park. In the next slide, get a little bit more, zoom in a little bit more and get a little more detail. So this portion of the linear park here where the spur trail goes through, you can see some of the imagery here, what it looks like right now. And this was identified as an ideal location to beautify and to enhance. So this was an opportunity for that to happen. Next slide. This project, we had $50,000 budgeted for concept and design work that was approved by the council in the fiscal year 2024-25 Parks Fund Capital Improvement Program. That helped us to reach out and select a landscape architecture firm. We have some landscape architecture firms that we have on call here at the city of Millbrae. And we worked with SWA Group. And SWA Group has a team of experienced landscape architects and with Japanese gardens. They have landscape architects who are Japanese American and also from Japan who have firsthand experience designing these types of facilities. And so the Sister Cities Commission formed a subcommittee last year that began exploring some potential concepts and designs through a series of visioning meetings with the landscape architecture team from SWA. Following that visioning process last summer, 3 concept designs were proposed and considered by the Sister Cities and Parks and Recreation Commission. And I'm gonna touch a little bit on those in just a few slides, in the next slide. And those 3 concepts were woven strands, RAK, and passages. And I'm just gonna quickly brief you on these 3 options because of the outcome of that process. And we're focusing in tonight on concept 1, woven strands. That was the recommendation. Next slide. So in January of this year, the Sister Cities Commission recommended moving forward with Concept 1, Woven Strands. The item was brought forward to the Parks and Recreation Commission, and they agreed. They also recommended Concept 1 at their March 18th, 2025 meeting. The Concept 1 had a water feature, and the original design of Concept 1 with all of the elements identified was $3.5 million, which was more than what we had sought after in the budget. And so we brought it forward to the City Council Infrastructure Subcommittee. They reviewed the recommendations and provided direction to staff to continue with the design that further refines Concept 1 and help reduce the fiscal impact and reduce the ongoing maintenance costs. Next slide. With the water feature concept, the bridges and certain supporting infrastructure removed, that saved $2 million in construction costs off to the estimate. But we still were able to preserve the design of Concept 1. We also, we came back and SWA worked on some updated plans that we're going to be presenting to you. And the new plans had a reduced cost estimate for that Concept 1. We also brought forward Concept 2 as an alternate for comparison so you can get an idea of what the different sites were. And the Sister Cities Commission, we brought this back to the Sister Cities Commission, and they recommended moving forward with the updated Concept 1 Woven Strands at their June 23rd meeting this summer. And they had 3 recommendations based on the design they saw. There was originally a wisteria arbor canopy structure that kind of served a dual use as a stage, could be used for events, and it was very attractive, and they wanted to keep that feature. They wanted to adjust the boundary of the project area a little bit just to tweak it, make sure it went all the way to the corner of Millbrae and Magnolia. And they wanted to identify the rest of the site as a future phase. Next slide. And so what you see on the screen before you tonight is the outcome of that recommendation. And I'm gonna go in and we also, after we brought this to the sister cities, I'm gonna bring this back in just a few slides. It also went back to the Parks and Recreation Commission at their meeting last week on the 15th. And I wanna note there's a little typo in the staff report. The meeting before Parks and Recreation Commission was on July 15th, not the 14th. Of course, the staff report for tonight's item was submitted before that meeting happened, but I'll talk about their recommendation in just a second. I'm going to come back to this slide in just a moment. Next slide. And so I mentioned that arbor design from the original Concept 1 that they wanted to restore. And this is an image from a year ago from that Concept 1 Woven Strands. And while the water feature wasn't feasible, this new design maintains that, that grassy center. So where you see water in the image, that's now a turfed area. But the seating, the amphitheater style is still there. And the canopy structure is retained. And if you go to the next slide, you can see kind of a zoom in on how that also would look. And you can see kind of a reverse view. And this again was from last year. The water feature is gone, but that seating design is retained in this Concept 1. And so it had a dual use. It could be used for events, for entertainment. It's also a shade structure because the spur trail goes under it. And of course, if someone needs to go around, there's a bypass as well on the other side. Next slide. So I'm going to bring it back in just a second. You can see the bench seating also was preserved from last summer. There's little areas for repose in this design that is retained in this proposal. And so just to go to the next slide. So I said those plans were updated to reflect the Sister Cities Commission. We brought that to Parks and Recreation Commission, and they concurred with this design at their July 15th meeting last week on Tuesday. They supported it and voted with a 401 decision with one member absent. They did recommend the addition of an interpretive educational sign. They felt that education would be an important component, and they thought that that would be an important addition. They also, of course, wanted to make sure that the design had appropriate trash and pet waste receptacles. The Parks and Recreation Commission, and again, I'm saying this out loud because I don't have it in the report since it was submitted before the deadline. They had their hearing afterwards. The comments that they provided included a suggestion that the facility may be made available for potential rentals. So whenever you have an amphitheater design, you can rent it out for special events. That was a great idea. They wanted to make sure that the ultimate design had appropriate security and lighting, to discourage potential vandalism. And one of the members had a concern with the flowering olive tree for potential allergies. We're going to come back and look at that because it is a tree that does cause some allergies sometimes for people, some sensitivities. So we'll look at replacing that particular tree species based on that suggestion from one of their commissioners. So next slide, you can go back and I'll just kind of show you that this is a zoom in of the concept. I have Daniel Cunningham here in Zoom. I'm not sure if he can hear or say anything out loud and as a panelist, but so you can see that this design that both the sister city, this enhanced design that the sister cities and the Parks and Recreation Commission have recommended for discussion at tonight's study session. It retains that central gathering quality that you see with the amphitheater seating. It has the bench seating for an area of repose. It's removed the water features. It's replaced it with a grass, and that center area has the wisteria. So shared path, evergreen canopies, central lawn, seating areas, and of course, cherry trees. You got to have cherry trees. Very important component of Japanese garden.
Good evening. This is Daniel. Thank you, Andrew. I think you did an excellent job presenting.
Thanks. Go ahead. Well, I'll let you talk more.
If there's a few things I can just add to illustrate a little bit more about the design. The spirit of this design is based on the Japanese principle of shake, which is this idea of borrowed landscape. And the site today that Andrew shared some photos of was an existing planted eucalyptus grove, which of course we all know are not native trees. So one of the ideas with this garden is to utilize the borrowed landscape of the hills of Millbrae that are beyond and bring some of that native planting palette down to this site, given that Japanese principle. Also, just want to add that, we saw this great presentation earlier about the elderly services in the city, and there's also a elderly community located right across the street at the Magnolia Residences. So this is an opportunity to provide a resource for those that doesn't currently exist. And contrastly, we learned from our meetings with the Sister Cities Committee that there is a Japanese language program at the high school. So looking at opportunities on how we can utilize this space to cross those different age groups. And as Andrew mentioned, while we did lose the water feature, the spirit of the design does remain the same. And there are several elements that harken the Japanese spirit with materiality, the trees, of course, and seasonality. And I believe the next slide shows some of the planting that is being utilized to bring that Japanese texture and feeling to this site while using kind of native drought-tolerant plants that are appropriate for the city of Millbrae. So as Andrew mentioned again, this is a very prominent site, and it's the beginning of the spur trail and a great opportunity to create a park that demonstrates that strong relationship between Hanyu and Millbrae.
Thank you. Next slide. And so with that, I'm sure there's lots of questions this evening by the council, and I'm sure you'd have questions for Daniel as well. Our recommendation is for you to review the Japanese Garden Concept Plan and provide direction to staff. This is an action item. If we are directed this evening by council, we will work with the design team to finalize the cost estimate and return to City Council for approval of bid documents and contracting for construction. So with that, Daniel and I are happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Director. The first question I have is on one of your slides on the concept one, there's a future phase that is east of the current site that you are proposing on this Japanese garden.
You go to slide.
One more.
Yeah, there you are. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Slide 17, please. 17. There we are.
Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry, you
Well,
want to
no,
see the phase?
Yeah, I know what the mayor's at. So if you go back to the.
It's on the staff report, but it's not, yeah.
Actually, you can see it on.
You can
slide,
see, you can see a little bit on the left-hand side, the
slide
blue
12.
part of it.
Yeah, if you go to slide 12, I apologize.
There you go, that's it.
Yeah, thank you.
That's the one. Future phase. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so the original design with the higher cost estimate was occupied more of the area. So one of the recommendations of the Sister Cities Commission was to identify that for a future phase, like an expansion of part 2. It could be another Sister Cities relationship. It could be
Another theme.
yeah, a different theme. It's really a black box for a future phase associated with this project that we've undertaken. So they felt that was important to identify because it is not a part of this, but again, that's for a cost savings measure to keep it within a.
So, I mean, it does seem like the current proposed footprint, it's right about half of what was originally intended. And therefore, from a $3 to $1.5 million budget. So, and is there any discussion on what the future phase look like at all, or not yet?
Not yet.
Okay, very well, thank you. All right, and so so sounds like the cost reduction is attributed to the reduction on the footprint.
That's right, although I should say the water feature
It's the water
was pretty significant in
Pretty
cost.
significant.
Second,
$2 million in cost reduction for not having a water feature.
not having a water feature.
Which, Mayor, to your point, did expand the footprint. So not only did the footprint shrink, the cost and ongoing operation and maintenance of maintaining a water feature is where we found some pretty significant cost savings.
Excellent, sounds good. All right, I'd like to open it up for the council for questions and comment, and then we'll take some public comment afterwards. Go ahead, Councilmember Nguyen, and then followed by Councilmember Riley.
So I think the renderings look pretty good, and we did cover this in the subcommittee meeting, but do you have any ideas to keep it looking good, what the long-term maintenance budget would look like and staff allocations around maintaining this park?
Daniel, do you want to take that question?
Sure. I believe, I think where your question comes from is the right place. I think the renderings we have represented are very high maintenance landscapes. And of course, these are concepts. And so as we move forward, as we hope to move forward, we'd want to work with city staff to ensure that the design is such that can be maintained by the city. We wouldn't want to install a landscape that is too high maintenance for what the city's current abilities are.
But Mayor, I'll jump in here and add to that a little bit. So you're familiar with this area. There's a lot of weeds, a lot of gophers, a lot of maintenance that our crews do anyway, just to keep the weeds down. We can bring more detail back, if the council moves forward this evening. But I think that, the amount of time that's spent along the spur trail, we may actually have a savings in staff utilization and time when things are planted, maintained, and avoiding the weed abatement and some of the challenges that we have out there currently.
Yeah, it's just to address the fact that it does look nice, but we know that's right. It takes effort, maintenance, cost, and it's good to see we have plans around that to keep that look going. Thanks.
We'll go to Councilmember Riley, and we'll come back to Councilmember Rinaldi.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the presentation. The cherry trees are beautiful. So I was wondering, your cost from 3.5 reduced to 1.5. Where the money coming from? Do we have that one in hand? Okay.
Yes, so with new development, the city collects a development impact fee for park improvements. That money cannot be used for maintenance of existing conditions or existing deficiencies, but it can fund new projects to accommodate future growth and population. And so the funding will come from our development impact fees. It's an added expansion of a park that will accommodate the needs of future population with the amphitheater and the various amenities.
All right, Councilmember Rinaldi.
Just a real quick comment. Thank you, Councilmember Riley, for the question. I was actually going to follow up with that, discussing the development impact fees. And just for the public record, I think you may have touched on this, City Manager Williams. But in regards to those funds, they can only be spent on public development like recreation, and this is from new building that's going on. There's a certain amount from these developer impact fees that are put aside. So this money's already there, already ready to spend, correct?
Yes, and it's to accommodate the needs of the future population for park services and parks. So for capital costs, it cannot be used for operation and maintenance or existing efficiencies. So just capital improvement costs.
Perfect. So this funding's already there to provide a particular project, which this fits that bill perfectly.
Correct.
Also, you've been able to trim it down from 3.5 million to 1.5 million. Can you talk a little bit about what you trimmed out exactly? Because if my memory serves me right, the original 3.5 million, was that for the full project, including phase two?
Yeah, the original design, the boundary was much larger and where this future phase is identified.
No, so just to be clear, there was never, it didn't go all the way to the skate park. So on this rendering where you see, I think it's number 1 on the new design, and then the trail between there and the skate park, that was always left for a future phase.
Got it. So it was never included in the 3.5 million to begin with?
Correct.
And so the cost savings came from trimming out the water features, which would require a lot of maintenance, a lot of cost. And can you talk a little bit about what you're replacing the water feature with? Because I didn't happen to see it in the presentation.
You can see that there's a turf area here, right where number 4 is, that central lawn. We looked at some options. We considered, for example, decorative rock, but that has a very high maintenance cost. So this design you see here, that center area in the middle, that kind of oval shape right around where the number 4 is, was the water feature was.
So just for clarification, the rock feature that was talked about prior in other subcommittee meetings has been changed to central lawn for maintenance
Correct.
purposes.
Yeah.
Great. Those are all my questions.
Anyone else? Mr. Vice Mayor.
Okay, thank you for the presentation, and I'm pleased to see the budget trimmed down and to be able to keep it within 1.5 million would be great. Just a couple of points. One is just for clarification, and I think this was brought up at the Sister Cities meeting, but on this slide, right around where the number 1 is, the path does connect to the existing spur trail. In the diagram, it looks like it doesn't quite connect, but okay. And then the other question I had was, I think in one of the images of what the existing conditions look like, there are, I believe, several mature oak trees in the area that have been planted over the years. Are any of those going to be saved? Can they be fit in with the design, or are they all planned to be removed?
Yes, we're saving all the trees that are in good condition. You can kind of see it in the graphic where the trees are shaded in a complete white circle. So those are represent the existing trees.
Okay. Okay, thanks very much.
Any other questions for the staff? Councilman Nguyen.
So the central lawn that we have planned for this, maybe a little more details on how we want to maintain that lawn. Is it going to be similar to Central Park, for example?
As in like with the
Just
mowing?
Yeah, mowing and all that. Just curious if we're going to do that.
I can't comment on how we maintain Central Park, but we obviously would have to mow that central lawn area.
Yeah, it's, so I haven't really talked to the landscape architect in detail, but if you go up Hillcrest where Josephine Waugh Park is, I think 3-4 years ago when we did that improvement, we introduced a drought-tolerant grass known as Fescue 1090. And it's deep-rooted, and once it's mature, the roots hit groundwater, and it's a significant cost savings. And it's incredible the way, I don't know if you've seen it, how green that lawn is. So our water reduction is right around 60% plus right now. So I anticipate that type of turf. So it would be drought tolerant. And then The area that's mowing, again, I reflect back on, we're out there knocking down the weeds all the time anyway. And so again, it goes to, we really haven't studied it and we'll bring it back, but I'm anticipating that the utilization and the amount of staff to maintain this is going to be nominal.
I see. Thanks.
Okay, very well. If no other questions, we'll take some public comment and then we'll come back with some final discussions. We'll start with Kathleen Kimura, please. Everybody has 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and City Council members. And thank you, Andy, and thank you, City staff and everyone for working on this project, which our Sister Cities Commission approved unanimously. I'm chair of the Sister City Commission, and this project has been an ongoing desire of all of us in recognition of our long-term friendship with Hanyu in Japan. They don't know about this completely yet, but should this be approved, we would plan to invite representatives from Hanyu to come over here. The mayor of Hanyu has been to Millbrae 3 times. He came originally with a group of 30 residents, checking us out to see if we would qualify to be a friendship city of theirs. And then subsequently, former chair Robert Gottschalk and I were invited to go to their 60th anniversary. And then after that, we had a delegation go for us to their 65th anniversary. And then just last year in November, 4 of us members were invited to attend their 70th anniversary. So they're 5 years behind us as a city, right? Anyway, but I would like to thank everyone, and I'm happy to take any questions, but this is something that the whole city of Millbrae can benefit from because it's part of the spur trail. It's not fenced off. Everyone can walk through it. The spur trail is used every single day by many, many people, including myself sometimes, and people can go through the concept of this Japanese garden and just enjoy peace and tranquility. And also the students from Mills High School can benefit. The residents of the retirement community at the Magnolia of Millbrae can benefit hugely from this. So I think it will enhance Millbrae. It absolutely will enhance the entry to the city along Millbrae Avenue to have more color, more vibrant trees, et cetera, et cetera. So I really hope that this will come to fruition, and thank everyone involved in helping us, and particularly the landscape artists, the professionalism, the meetings we had with them, and the understanding of the whole concept between Hanyu and Millbrae. They got it, they understood, and they worked so diligently with us, and I really appreciate their expertise and professionalism. So thank you.
Thank you for your comment, Ms. Kimura. Next speaker is Marian Kopp.
Hi again. I want to thank you, the Sister City, that they actually done a fabulous job to come up with the idea, the initiative, to come up with some kind of garden stand of it. So I should appreciate that. Everything Catherine said, benefit the resident, everything, I agree, okay? But I start thinking about this. This whole thing going to use the impact fees that Millbrae has received from the new development. The impact fee is for the entire 23,000 residents here. So I only asking here today to ask the council to widen the scope of this garden content, whatever plans in there. I would really like, because Sister City, we have Friendship City, Sister City, we have different country, Chile, Malta, I don't know, China, and then Japan. And then so that's expanded instead of just do one name. So I talked to a wise man over the Saturday, and they come out with a suggestion called Grove. Maybe that we can call them Millbrae Grove, and then we can plant different things. I have suggestion of lemon tree from Mediterranean city. We have Italian on the city council. We have Germany everywhere. So let's plant those two. And then for the Malta, I guess they have olives. They also have lemon too, so you can plant that. And then also for the Hispanic country, and then we have 11% of Spanish resident in Millbrae. So we can plant something lower called carnation, some kind of flower, okay? And the California poppy, it can be there too, representing our state. That's representing our city. So I would just try to ask the council to open up the scope of this thing. Don't make a rush decision. Just go with what? Because this is a half of the site that we are proposing here. And then we only dedicate to one ethnic group, one nation, okay? And I love cherry blossom tree. I really love it. But that just opened up a little bit, okay? And then do a little more study. We waited for what, 5, 6 years already? Finally, we have money in that account. So let's do that. Let's try to do that. Let's try to make that place, carrying right with Catherine's initiative, make it a place for everybody in Millbrae, any ethnic group, national, whatever they come from, they can go there to see their tree, to their flower. So that's just my suggestion. And then I received 120 signature here. So I can send it all to you, and then you can consider that.
Thank you so much for your comment.
Who do I give it to?
Give it to the city, acting city clerk, please. Thank you. All right, thank you for the comment. I think we have one more speaker here in the chamber, and then we move on to online speaker after. Ann Schneider.
Good evening, Ann Schneider, Palm Avenue. And as a council member or mayor, I've been to Hanyu twice. And it was absolutely fabulous to be part of the contingent of both of those. And in both cases, they took us to various types of Japanese gardens on that. And to me, Japanese gardens speak of calmness and serenity and beauty. But I will tell you, in terms of how long this particular concept has been in the air, when I was mayor in 2023, I went to Washington, D.C. to lobby at Congress to get money for our projects here, basically the recycled water project. And the Japanese cherry trees in D.C. were in full bloom. I've been to D.C. many times. I have never been there when the cherry blossoms are in full bloom, and how beautiful, absolutely stunning it is. So I came home and said, Sister City, here's this beautiful experience we will all experience when cherry blossoms bloom, and the sheer joy you felt coming off of people. And I am so happy that Sister City has continued to work on this, that staff has continued to work on it. I love the plans on that. I think it's really, you've done great work. I think the concept of starting small and growing is within reason. And if I remember the developer fee correctly from my time on council, some of those dollars have to be spent within a quarter mile of the location of the project. So if we're talking Gateway or Longfellow or Alexandria, Tom's shaking his head no, so I guess I got that one wrong. But I thought it had to be used, you know, close by. But think of all those new business employees, and I love the idea of the amphitheater, because you're gonna have small work groups. They're gonna need a little bit of space away. They can walk up there, sit and use the amphitheater. I think the design is great. I do have 2 asks. Of course, I'm a water person. I understand the cost of the water feature. When Sam was still with us, we talked about the fact that that's where Millbrae Creek used to run through. You can actually see the creek higher up on the spur. And if we had a rain garden that would not be permanent water, but would be able to take water during the raining season, I don't know if it's too late to get that into the plan. I have to say I like the grass idea, because there's never enough place to sit down. And you've got the Mills High School kids right there. You've got the Japanese Club right there at Mills High School. You're talking about Partners for Future Maintenance. When we were in Japan the last time, and I believe President Maggie Musa is watching on Zoom, the desire to strengthen our children's relationship, both at the middle school level and the high school level, all can be wrapped around this really lovely garden concept. My last thing is, I know that I'm ready to raise money to donate certain items that give that Asian feel. I've had long talks with Kathleen. What's a Japanese lantern versus a Chinese lantern versus a Korean lantern? I don't know the differences. But I think there's some features that if you put a collection amount on it, we can raise money, especially once the ground is broken. Thank you, council.
Thank you.
Vote, move forward. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. All right. I think that's all for the in-chamber speaker, and move on to online, please.
Hi, hi iPhone, can you please state your name and unmute?
It's me.
Yes, hi, can you please state your name?
Okay, hi, Alice Kwong. Thank you for the opportunity to talk. You know, even though someone make a house, we get public hearing. Now our city get funding and able to make another green, new park. We should listen to our citizens and let us know. I never received any public hearing about this and about the name, right? And I just heard our manager, our city manager say for the future population need, is it regarding for the age or what nationality people living here? So Japanese percentage resident is very, very minor if for the future population need. Another hand is, I welcome you guys to come to my backyard. My backyard is a typical Honshu style. Honshu Garden is the most beautiful, famous in the world for history for 5,000 years. So please, council, and you are the one now today and getting the control to vote yes or no. But I believe all your council members maybe also just hear about this maybe a few days ago when you get the agenda. For me, I just heard about on yesterday, but I do sign the petition. So city need to have spent all this money. It's not from Japan sister city. It's from our impact fee. So it's not donated by Japanese. It's from our own money. And the own money should be have here to our own citizens. The name, and even the 30 trade, it's not only Japanese have it. Any other whether can able to grow those trade, they can have those trade plan. I go to our outdoor city, outdoor supply a couple months ago. I talked to the city manager. I asked them in our Millbrae city, what seasonal we can play the plan and make our Millbrae downtown beautifully and all year long have flowers, all year long have a green. They give me 20%. I say if it's Millbrae city to deal with them, and by his as outdoors manager, he can give us 20%. The same day, I talked to our city manager Tom already about this deal. So please don't make a decision tonight and listen to our citizen. What do we like? Because the money is not from the sister city. Don't misleading. It's from our impact fee, and the name should be percent Millbrae because it's our own money. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the comment. Anyone else?
No other speaker slips or hands raised on Zoom.
Thank you so much, Acting City Clerk. If I can have the representative, yes, I'm sorry. Director Mokensen, what is the action tonight? What are we being asked to make a decision?
So,
Just be clear.
so the staff recommendation tonight, and this is an action item, so we're recommending the city council review the Japanese garden concept plans and provide direction to staff. It'd be slide 19, by the way. If directed this evening, and this is an action item, we will work with the design team to finalize the cost estimate and return to city council for approval of bid documents and contracting for construction of this project.
Okay, so it is the budget and the design and the one more time.
Right, we'd work with, if directed, we'll work with the design team to finalize the
Bid
cost.
document and contracting for construction.
Yes.
Okay,
And
all right.
the funding for that was approved with the CIP program with this fiscal year's 2-year budget.
Okay, so tonight we're not being asked or discussion of any naming of this place, correct?
Correct.
Good, all right. So it's just the garden itself, the design, the bid package, and the contract for the constructions of it. Okay, just want to be clear what we're doing tonight. Okay? Any other comments from the council? Questions? Okay, please, Councilmember Rinaldi.
Thanks. I've got a couple quick questions for city staff regarding this project in particular. First question here revolves around the impact fees. How much time do we have to spend those impact fees? Is there a time limit on it?
Yeah, 5 years to expend development impact fees, but there is a finding that we can bring back to the city council to continue the development impact fee revenue for expenditures, but typically it's 5 years.
How many years are we already into this process?
Two.
So we got about 3 left.
Year and a half, 2 years, yeah.
Next question. How many meetings have we had with the sister cities and Park and Recs Department around this concept and this theme?
Parks and Rec 2, Sister Cities Commission, probably 3 or 4, not including the subcommittee.
Okay, and how long has this, from a time-wise, been going on?
We started early last summer.
So a year.
And it was in the work program for Sister Cities before that time as well, which was council approved.
Got it. Next question. As far as funds go, how much funding have we spent to work with these concept artists on this potential project so far?
The city council allocated $50,000. That was in the fiscal year 24-25 budget.
Got it. And what we allocated for was a Japanese garden, correct?
Correct.
Which is what they've provided back to us. How much would it cost for change fees to change the plan around now? Being this far down the pipeline?
Well, change it to what?
Whatever it may be directed to if we were to decide to make a change. Because I'm sure the folks that are working on this, they're not going to change the whole theme of this thing without any kind of hourly rate or some kind of billing. Usually when you have a large project and you institute a change to it, there's a fee that's usually associated with it. Do we have any idea what that would be?
Well, it depends. So, but to your point, yes, any change, any further work would require additional funding.
So there'd be an additional cost, correct? Yeah.
Yeah, soft cost, design costs, correct.
Next question. Being that this is only phase 1 and there is a phase 2, which is further up the spur trail, wouldn't that give us opportunity for expansion of other ideas? So perhaps this portion would remain the Japanese garden is originally voted on, worked on for over a year, what this design artist had presented, and then we have the phase 2, which is kind of a blank palette to work with.
That's right.
Or even Mills Estate, which we're having, what is it, August 9th and September 4th, community session to have listening session to hear what people want to do there. So it's safe to say there's opportunity for other representation of other cultures or other friendship cities within our city. Would that be fair?
Yes, for the second phase, for the additional phase, yeah.
Okay. That's it. Those are all the questions I got. Thank you.
Councilmember Nguyen.
I want to add to Stephen's comments about the phased approach. I kind of like that idea because if you look at a lot of the theme parks, for example, right, there are distinct zones. It's just more visually pleasing, and we have visual coherence, right, with these types of setups. So same can be said about Japanese gardens. I'm not of Japanese descent, but I do enjoy going to Japantown. I do enjoy the aesthetics, even if I'm not from that group of people. So the phase 1 seems like an attractive approach. And to make this more inclusive, I do like this idea here where we can potentially include other zones, right, to showcase the inclusiveness, but not necessarily take away the character from the Japanese gardens.
Okay, Mr. Vice Mayor?
Yeah, those were, I think, all great comments by Councilmember Rinaldi and Councilmember Nguyen. One other comment that I just thought of, we already have a La Serena Plaza, right by the library here. We have a Mosta Grove in honor of those sister cities. And I believe when those areas were planted, we did bring in trees, I believe, from Chile and from Malta. And I don't know if they were gifted to the city by those sister cities, but they were planted at each of those locations. So I don't know if there's any interest in the folks from Hanyu possibly offering a gift of some type of a cherry tree or some type of a native tree or plant from that region of Japan. And that would be a nice gesture if they are willing to do that. But otherwise, I support the concept and the designs going forward. Thank you.
Any other questions? Comments?
One last comment, and don't want to overshadow anyone on this particular issue, but I would like to direct staff that if the council does so choose to move forward with this, that we really do take the recommendation that came from the subcommittee regarding the educational aspect of this, perhaps some kind of plaque or an explanation of what this grove is.
My question to the staff and also the designer, we're here to finalize the cost estimate, the bid document contracting for the construction, the species of the plants. Is it something that we're deciding tonight as well? Or is it something that
We're open to any comments and suggestions you have on the plant palette.
Yeah.
But I think, Mr. Mogensen, the action tonight is to move forward with those details. We will then give you the specific plant species and a detailed plan that will be brought to the city council under the second paragraph.
Okay.
So you're not approving this exact species?
Yeah, we're not, yeah,
It's a
exactly.
concept, and we go back to work with the landscape architect to refine it and get the details.
So there's refinement to be made on the exact species of the plant that's gonna go in. We're just basically approving the overall concepts of the design, bid package, and come back and said, is it gonna be a red tree, or is it gonna be a blue tree, or is it gonna be a purple tree, or is it gonna be a green tree, right?
That's right.
We'll come back to those discussions at some point later, right? And again, we're here to discuss the design, the bid package, the cost estimate, not exactly what plan nor naming of this place. So just want to be clear on what we're discussing here this evening. Okay, any other comments? Councilmember Rinaldi.
Thank you. Mayor Fung, I think you bring up a great point. I know tonight we're not making final judgment here, but we are providing a little direction that if the council so chooses to move forward, giving a little bit of feedback. And to the point of plants with allergies, I would recommend that when you look at those species, take that into careful consideration, because a lot of the feedback I was hearing at that BPAC subcommittee revolved around the educational aspect of this park, having the students from Mills being able to use it, other elementary schools, the middle school, Taylor, being able to use the facility. And being that I just got back, well, not back, but being that I was involved in a youth-oriented event all weekend long, I can't tell you how important it was to be cognizant of food sensitivities or allergies. So being that this is going to be something that sounds like it'll have an educational aspect to it, I think we should really take into consideration the species of plants and allergens.
And also, if you don't mind, what is the size of this site? How many acres is that?
Daniel, do you know off the top of your head?
Guesstimate.
Excellent question. I believe it's 1.3, if I recall.
Roughly 1.3 acre. And then the remaining site, that future phase that you have outlined?
I think it's a little larger. It's probably about 2.
About 2 acres. And Mr. City Manager, what's the size of our Mills Estate Park that's currently under consideration?
Total area, Mayor, is just around 3 acres.
Just around 3 acres. What is the total amount of impact fee we have accumulated and also expecting upon completion of some of the current projects that we have in the pipeline?
currently around $9.5, $10 million.
Okay, and out of that, 1.5 is dedicated to this,
Correct.
when the rest of it are still forthcoming. Okay, so I mean, just as an opportunity, there's much to be done as far as building out our futures on auto recreational space with additional creativity, inclusivities of it all. I just wanted to bring about that discussion. This is not done by any mean of stretch of imagination in terms of, how we wanted to celebrate and be inclusive about, all the cultures that Millbrae has to offer. We're a very diverse city, and we're very clear about welcoming and ensuring everyone to have a pathway to success and represent everybody's, and celebrating everybody's culture in this city. So, and again, tonight we're only here to discuss the bid package, finalize the cost estimate, and the contract for construction. And the exact species will come back later on.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, if I can clarify, so the action tonight is not the bid package. The action tonight is to take the next step forward if the council approves it, to then move forward with the final design, the refinement of the design. Once we have that, then we will bring that back to city council for approval to go out for bid.
And so there's more opportunity for those public input.
Correct.
If I could just clarify, the
City
action
Attorney.
tonight is to provide comment on the concept plan. And as the city manager indicated, the next step would be for the city staff to then implement the design, to move forward with the contracts for the design plans
A little bit of echo
and
there.
construction contracts. So we're at the concept plan stage tonight.
Okay, so there's, what we're trying to say here, there's more details to come forward and more public input opportunities for how this eventually will turn out. We're by no means all done.
That is correct, Mayor.
Okay, all right, just, council member?
So just to be crystal clear, so basically what we're doing is getting the final total cost of ownership for phase one by giving direction to move forward with the designer tonight.
We're deciding on the budget tonight.
Yeah.
You're not taking a budget act. The estimate, it's 1.5 estimate. What we're asking you, do you want to go forward with this or not? That's the question. If we do, then we will then move forward with the final design, evolve that, bring that back to the city council for approval with the cost estimate, and then approval of the bid documents to go out for competitive bid for building of the park.
Correct. So it's coming back to council with the final total cost of ownership.
Right, and that cost may be, I mean, I think, it may be 1.7 million. I mean, time value of money, I don't know.
Or 1.3.
1.3, it is just an estimate.
There you go. Thank you.
Right. Okay, all right. Councilmember Riley, sorry, I didn't see your hand.
Thank you. I thank you for our colleague bring up all of those questions and concerns. I really appreciate. I totally agree. We are a diversified city. We probably think about other larger culture. And as we are city council member, we should listen to our constituent ones. What do they think about? What do they want to do? That's what I want to add. Thank you.
Okay, very well. Thank you for the comment. Anyone else? Councilmember?
Is phase two part of this, this plan? No?
We would not identify phase two in the items that we bring back to you.
But there's no mention of phase two in this plan whatsoever?
No, there's not. There's no mention of phase two. That's not
a part.
Okay.
There'll be opportunity, at the direction of the council to move forward with that phase two, but it's not part of your action this evening.
Okay.
Unless the council so directs this evening, if you'd like us to move forward with phase two, we would welcome that direction. We could certainly do that.
Okay, thanks.
One thing at a time. All right, very well. Any further comments? Any final comments? Otherwise, we'll take a motion. Okay, we have a motion from the Vice Mayor and also a second from Councilman Ronaldo. Your votes, please.
Item number 13 passes with a vote of 5-0.
Okay, thank you very much. Moving on to item number 14, new business. Adoption of a resolution supporting multi-jurisdictional bicycle sharing program, electric micromobility, e-mobility, e-micromobility rebate program, electric bicycles for city fleet programs, bus ride access, and visibility and experience, and submitting application to the Cycle 3 San Mateo County Transportation Authority for Measure A, Alternative Congestion Relief, and Measure W, Transportation Demand Management and Program Funding. City Manager, please.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I'd like to introduce our Senior Environmental Programs Manager, Ms. Andrea Papajohn, for the staff presentation.
Thank you, City Manager Williams. Mayor Fong, council members, Andrea Papajohn from City Millbrae. I am here to present what we'd like is for City Council to adopt resolutions in support of the application to the San Mateo County Transportation Authority for the Transportation Demand Management Program funding. Next slide, please. So in this presentation, we'll go over first the call for projects, and then secondly, over the first application, which we're calling the BRAVE project application, and then the second application, the e-micromobility application. Next slide. The San Mateo County Transportation Authority, which we refer to as the TA, has a call for projects. It's cycle 3 of the Transportation Demand Management Program. The funding is sourced from the TA's Measure A, Alternate Congestion Relief, ACR, and Measure W, TDM, Transportation Demand Management Program funding. The call for projects, the applications are due August 1st, and the award date is expected around November of 2025. So in this call for projects, there are 3 subcategories that you can apply for. There's an intelligent transportation system, planning and design, TDM competitive projects, and TDM planning and policy. And both of our applications are in the TDM competitive projects subcategory. Next slide, please. So in this subcategory, the competitive projects, the goal of the projects that are submitted should meet, the following criteria: provide congestion relief, increase sustainable transportation options such as e-bikes, scooters, etc. Promote sustainability and health, so active transportation, walking and biking. Encourage economic development opportunities, and invest funding equitably. The maximum project award is $500,000 in this subcategory, and there's approximately $6.15 million available in this subcategory. A minimum 10% match is required for all applications, city match, and then a reduced equity match of 5% is for any projects that are located in the equity priority areas. Next slide, please. So I'm going to talk about 2 TDM competitive project applications that we would like to submit. And the first one is, we're calling it BRAVE, stands for Bus Rider Access, Visibility and Experience Project. Basically bus stop amenity improvements at the Samtrans El Camino Real and Victoria Avenue bus stop. And the second application is an e-micromobility program, and it has like 3 components: support for our existing spin bike share program, the implementation of an e-mobility rebate program, and a small portion to fund e-bike fleet for city staff use. Next slide, please. So the first application, the BRAVE project, we are requesting, actually apologize that we refined our number, and I believe you have on your, in front of you, the revised amount, which is, really apologize, I didn't here, 61,876 total funding, but we're requesting $58,782. Next slide, please. So the Samtrans Bus Stop Improvement Plan started in the fall of 2022. And Samtrans, they went out, inventoried 1,871 of their 1,900 bus stops. And they looked at the current characteristics at each of those 1,871 stops. They also conducted engagement with riders to find out what they wanted. And what some of the feedback they got, riders were least satisfied with the lack of shelter, lighting, and real-time information. So riders, on the flip side, wanted more shelter, lighting, and real-time information. And then in 2023, Samtrans took that information and they developed some design guidelines for the minimum recommended amenities needed at each stop. And so further, Samtrans identified out of those 871, 221 bus stops to receive near-term investments. So their near-term investments would prioritize in the next 3 years, and then plans to revisit the remaining stops for longer-term investments. Next slide, please. So all that to say that there are 16 Samtrans stops in Millbrae, and 8 of those are near-term investments that were identified in the Samtrans inventory. Only 4 of the stops in Millbrae have a shelter, and only 3 have a system map. So you can see in the map on the right, they're the stops they're all on El Camino Real, and this route is like the busiest route of Samtrans, and this route goes from Daly City down to Palo Alto. So of the 8 near-term stops, 7 of them actually require creation of a bus bulb. And so we are seeking funding for the one stop that does not require a bus bulb, which is a sidewalk improvement. And that is the southbound stop at El Camino Real and Victoria Avenue. Next slide, please. So I wanted to go through kind of that just to show why we're just asking for this one stop and not multiple stops. But I'm happy to go into more detail if you'd like. So this is actually the current condition at El Camino Real and Victoria Avenue. As you can see, there is a pole and sign, and on the top of that sign, there's like sort of a sign that's facing the other direction, and I took a picture of it on the right, and so it doesn't have a map or a schedule. There's no real-time information. It just has the stop ID. So if you go to that stop and you want the schedule, you have to pull up the stop ID on your phone. And then it has a bench and a trash receptacle. Next slide, please. So the new amenities that we are budgeting for in our project, should we get funding, would be shelter with lighting and bench. And then the picture below, real-time information system, kind of like you see at BART. Top right picture, system map and route, so you can see how often the bus is coming, what times, and where it's going, and where else it's stopping. And then bottom right, the trash, which sort of integrates with the shelter. Next slide, please.
Sorry, if I can just
Yes,
stop
please.
a second, go back one slide. The system map and route, are they real-time or are they printed?
So the real-time information is real-time, but the system map is printed.
Okay, so those are
Yep, and there's a map case inside the shelter. It's printed.
So that information is not dynamic, that's static.
That's correct. System map and route are static. Yeah, the schedule stays the same, Monday through Friday. Yeah, so, but, yeah, it is, it's not changing.
I hope they stay the same.
If it does stay, if it changes, then I would expect that Samtrans would come and change the map. Or we would work with them to do that. Actually, I'm not sure whose responsibility it is, but yes. Okay, next slide, please. Yeah, thank you. So the Samtrans Bus Stop Improvement Project, there are roles for Samtrans and then there are roles for Millbrae. So on the left column, Samtrans would also be applying for funding to this competitive grant, actually it might be planning. Samtrans is requesting funding $12,000 for the design aspect of the project. They would coordinate with us on design and amenity placement. Samtrans would organize the purchase, procurement, installation of the amenities. So they would do the purchasing because they have relationships with the vendors on the amenities and the installation as well. And then they would also provide ridership data pre and post installation. So they would provide that data to the city so that we could see the impact of adding these amenities. And Samtrans would do the maintenance of the bus stop. And then Millbrae's role would be, we would request the funding amount for the amenity and installation aspects, coordinate with Samtrans on design, and Millbrae would conduct the quarterly TA reporting. Next slide, please. Okay, so I won't go into all this detail, but there are obviously needs for the project. It's located in an equity priority area, so it would serve the community that it's disproportionately impacted by traffic-related pollution and transit infrastructure gaps. And then some comments on the right-hand side of the slide. It has been highlighted again as a near-term improvement in the Samtrans bus stop improvement plan. So it is something that's on their radar for the next 3 years. And then the last part on the slide, the enhanced amenities make transit more viable, attractive option, increasing bus ridership. So data would be collected to show the impact of that. Next slide, please. Okay, the next application is our e-micromobility project, and we're requesting $500,000. There are three kind of components in this application. One is to continue to support the Millbrae Burlingame Bike Share Program. The second one is e-micromobility rebate program. And the third piece is an e-bikes for city fleet. Next slide. So the multi-jurisdictional bike share program with SPIN, we are requesting $250,000 to continue implementing the joint bike share system between Burlingame and Millbrae. Next slide. And just to show how we've used the funding that we received in the last cycle, actually cycle one, we received $200,000 from the TA and a city matched $20,000. And so we have installed about 17 bike corrals. Several of them have bike racks. And we've also subsidized rides to increase ridership. And so now we are seeking to apply to replenish the program funding. We'd like to continue to install a few more bike racks. We're thinking potentially working with maybe some multifamily dwellings to see if they want bike racks in front of their properties, or even commercial businesses if they're interested in having bike racks or corrals. And then we would also continue to subsidize the rides. They've increased the subsidy for riders, basically has increased ridership about 200 rides per week before and after the subsidy. Next slide, please. Okay, so the bike share program has been outsourced to a company, SPIN. It's really no cost to the city of Millbrae or Burlingame. Our contract expires in February. But just to reiterate, SPIN is solely responsible for managing the program, including the operations, the maintenance, the liability, marketing, et cetera. I mean, we support them with our outreach in every way we can, but it is their responsibility. And at the bottom are just some data on success of the program. I will just mention there's been over 25,500 rides. Next slide. And we just put together some success. I know we talked about this a few months ago when we gave the SPIN update, but the program offers, not only the residents, but visitors and employers with a clean transportation alternative for destinations in Millbrae and Burlingame. And we found that the Millbrae BART Caltrain station is the most frequently used station for the corral, for the origin and destination of bikes. So it really does show that people are using the bikes to get to and from public transportation. And the bike share program is called out in our climate action plan. It's measure 28. And that measure states it's the implementation of a bike sharing program as a greenhouse gas reduction strategy. Okay, next slide, please. So the next part of the application is an e-micromobility rebate program, and we're requesting $240,000 for this. So we would like to implement a rebate program for income qualified residents for the purchase of either an e-bike or an e-scooter. And I'll go into some more details on the next slide. So what we're envisioning is a rebate program for those who qualify. They would be offered to residents enrolled in either the CARE or FARA programs. CARE is the California Alternative Rates for Energy, FARA, the Family Electric Rate Assistance Program. And so applicants would be eligible to receive either $500 for a standard e-bike or e-scooter, or $1,000 rebate for a cargo scooter or bike, or adaptive scooter or bike. And I'll just show a few pictures in the next couple slides. But the rebate could also be used to cover safety and security accessory purchases. So that could include a helmet, lights, a visibility vest, and lock. Next slide. So a couple examples of micromobility models. So on the top left is a standard e-bike, and then the second picture is a cargo bike. You've probably seen them around, but they're heavier. They have they can transport like up to 200 pounds, and some models, or most models. And then also you could put a passenger on the back with a seat. And then the adaptive e-bikes are for those more with mobility challenges. And so they can include perhaps 3 wheels for stability, different handlebars, a different seat. So they could be customized depending on the mobility challenge. And then kind of same for the e-scooters. There's a standard one on top, and then the cargo one with like the basket in back. And then the one on the bottom is has a cargo as well. I guess the middle one is for adaptive because of the 3 wheels for stability. Okay, next slide, please. So the application process for the rebate, the resident would show their bill that they're enrolled in the CARE or FARA program, purchase of the item or seat. And then what we would want them to do is we would require, like, they would sign a safety pledge that they would watch a video, safety video that we provide, and also agree to a post-purchase survey so that we could collect data on how often they rode it. Did it replace their car? How do they like it? Just give them information on the post-purchase. And yeah, more information a little bit on safety. We would recommend use of a helmet, and a portion of the rebate, again, can cover, some of those safety equipment. And Millbrae would also look into partnering to host bike safety workshops. For example, Silicon Valley Bike Coalition hosts riding and safety workshops. We could partner with them, and we know the Sheriff's Office also had bike rodeo. So we would want to host a few workshops throughout the year. Next slide, please. Yep, so the benefits are, many. They provide an opportunity for alternate transportation, getting out of your car, a sustainable, cost-effective way for driving short distances, financial incentives for income qualified residents, and they promote active transportation. Okay, next slide, please. And I just want to mention, you may be familiar that Peninsula Clean Energy currently has an e-bike incentive program. They offer $1,000 for those who are income qualified in the CARE or FARA program. So this program could layer on top of that. E-bikes, especially cargo and adaptive bikes, are a lot more expensive, so this could help, close that gap. And PC is a little different because you actually have to purchase the bike from one of their participating bike shops. But what we're proposing is that residents could go anywhere to purchase the bike or purchase it online. Next slide, please. Okay, and last bit here is the electric bikes for city fleet. We were requesting approximately 10,000 for the purchase of 2 e-bikes for city staff use. As you can see in the picture, like some police now use e-bikes. So next slide, please. What we would propose is that, well, the benefits, I guess, would be you could travel to local destinations without relying on a vehicle, reduce carbon footprint, obviously more active transportation, and it can be more efficient sometimes if you don't have to go through traffic. And the types of trips could be to attend meetings, for inspections or audits, neighborhood surveys, even travel between different locations, conducting outreach or park maintenance. Okay, next slide. And so what we'd like to do is actually conduct a survey of our staff to see what kind of models and accessories that would best fit our staff before we're making any decision. And to try to get buy-in. And then the desired bike models range from like $3,000 to $6,000. That's what I mentioned earlier. That's why we wanted to add, more on top of Peninsula Clean Energy's rebate, because some of these bikes do cost a lot more. Okay, next slide. So staff recommends the adoption of our two resolutions supporting our 2 applications to the TDA Cycle 3 call for projects. And thank you. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. City Manager.
There's a change in attachment 2 resolution. There's 2 resolutions. Kind of the overarching purpose of this is to have the council adopt these 2 resolutions, which is a requirement of the grant. But in your purple folder, we've revised the contingency from 15% to 10%. And so that's the resolution that will need to be adopted this evening. And that just reflects a change in from $64,689.59 to $58,782.99. And then as the contingency is reduced, the matching fund amount moves from $3,234.47 to $3,093.84.
Okay.
And that's
Thank you, City Manager.
Revised resolution is in your purple folder.
Thank you.
City Manager Williams, just so I'm clear, this is the one resolution with the costs associated with it that we have an action on tonight?
Correct. It's just a revised resolution in the amount that's in that revised resolution. There's also another resolution, so there's 2 of them.
Yep.
This is for the bus rider access and visibility.
Okay.
The other resolution is for the e-bike program.
500,000 plus 50,000 match. Yeah. Thank you, City Manager, for bringing that up.
Okay. Let's start with the council. Any questions for our staff? Councilman Moon.
What's the anticipated long-term operational maintenance expenses and potential needs after that Cycle 3 funding?
And are you, is it both projects or one in particular?
Right, just long-term projections outside of the Cycle 3, for example.
Yep, so for the bus stop improvement amenities, Samtrans would do the maintenance on the bus stop. So there would not be any additional cost for the city. And for the e-micromobility, again, there would no be additional cost for the bike share program. We are looking to wind down the subsidies, and so therefore we would not be requesting any additional funding after this 2-year funding. For the rebate program, we hope that it would be fully subscribed, but we would use about $240,000 for that. And for the e-bike for city, we would have to look at charging the city e-bikes. And so that's something that we haven't costed out yet.
I see. So what about are we making assumptions that we're going to get ongoing funding? And then what happens if we don't get that funding?
There isn't additional funding that we would need for any of these. The funding that we're asking for would cover the cost of the projects.
Even beyond Cycle 3?
Correct. Or I mean, these projects would be covered within the amount we're asking for.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Councilmember Rinaldi?
I just want to follow up on Councilmember Wynn's question regarding cost of the program. So the Spin e-bike program, I know it's a program that we have funding for to cover it, but what happens when that TA funding runs out? What would the cost that we would incur for the Spin program be?
Yep. So currently, we have spent some of the money on bike racks and so we call it infrastructure. So we've spent money on corrals and bike racks. So there's no additional cost for those. Those are installed and there's no maintenance on those. But what we've used for the other part of the funding is subsidies for the riders. So right now, it's $1 to unlock and 42 cents a minute. And we have been subsidizing the 42 cents a minute for rides. And that has helped us increase ridership by over 200 rides a week. And so if we don't subsidize the rides, it would go back to the rate card unless Spin wanted to reduce the rates on their own, volition.
So let me just see if I'm following along here.
Yeah.
So the $1 to unlock the bicycle from the bike rack is incurred by the person that's riding it. And then the 42 cents per mile that Spin charges is incurred by the city as a subsidy to cover it. They subsidize it. Is that correct?
It's covered through the grant.
It's covered through the grant.
Correct. The
Yeah,
city hasn't
that's what I
paid,
wanted to
yeah.
clarify for everybody listening.
Yep.
There's no money coming from the city, it's all grant funded.
Yeah.
So that subsidy is grant funded. If that grant goes away, then we would have to come back to the council to see if you had a desire then to use city funds to continue the program or cancel the program.
Got it. Just quick comment. I see a lot of youth participating and riding on these Spin bicycles. It'd be nice if they can pick up the bicycles afterwards, because oftentimes I find them around in neighborhoods, kind of just sitting there abandoned on the sidewalk. So that'd be my only comment, if Spin could be a little conscious about that. Or is that done by your city staff? Not trying to put anyone on the spot here.
Nope, it's been, and I appreciate it. They are not as proactive as we would like. We do see bikes in places and call them and make requests for them to move it, and then they are reactive, but they're a lot less proactive than we would prefer.
And just for process, because, with city staff, I see when we use SeeClickFix, response times are great. So absolutely thrilled with that.
Yep.
But when we see these Spin e-bikes, what would be the process that, as a resident, we would go through to report it? Would it be done through a SeeClickFix, or is there a specific number through the Spin e-bike program?
There's multiple ways. It's on SeeClickFix. There is something for the Spin bikes, and so that's one option. You can always call staff. I get the message, and I can go directly to my contacts, and they're very responsive, rather. Or there is email and phone number, like on our website, if someone wants to call them or email them directly. And you could do all three, so.
Thank you, appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And Dre, just for the council's benefit, contractually, Spin has a response time that they're contractually obligated to remove the bikes. Can you share with the council what that is?
City manager, I think I need to look that up, but I don't think they're not meeting their contractual obligation
Yeah, it's been
to
one of the-
move bikes
yeah,
that often.
It's been one of the problems we have, and
Yeah.
I can't remember if it's a 24-hour or
I think it's 2 days. but
48-hour.
Yeah.
We can get back, I can get the information out to the city council, but they are contractually obligated to pick up the bikes when a certain amount of time. And
Yeah.
we've been working with them, and I think Burlingham's had the same problem on their responsiveness. So it's something that we need to continue to bird dog and work on.
Yeah, I will say it is tricky for them, and, they absolutely, want to make our program successful, and they're also very cost sensitive. So it's like a lot of push and pull. So we keep calling them for their operations, and, they jump, but again, they're not as responsive proactive as we would like.
Mr. Vice Mayor?
Yes, thank you. I want to say, first of all, the bus stop looks like a big improvement over the current conditions. So I hope we do get that grant awarded. Now for the micromobility, the spin bike, so the 250,000, if we were to receive that, that would only be for the city of Millbrae's costs. It's not a joint application with Burlingame.
Oh, good question. I did not mention that the city of Burlingame is also applying for $250,000 for the bike share program.
Okay.
So I believe they'll put in a total of $500,000, and then we're both allocating half for the grant.
Got it. And the city subsidy, that comes out of a joint pot, or is it by city, or?
So each city would have to do a city match of 10%. So we would,
No, sorry, I mean the 42 cents per minute that the city subsidizes on the fare?
Yeah, so basically the subsidy comes from the grant, and both cities have allocated the full amount to, so
So it
let me
comes out of
step
like
back.
a joint pot between the two
It
cities?
is, right. We
Okay.
each receive $200,000 for the bike share program, and all of it is used for the bike share program equally. Yep, and so again, none of it comes from the city. The subsidy is just coming from the grant.
Right, okay. Well, thank you.
Yep.
Anyone else? Okay. If, Ms. Papajohn, if you can help us with, how many bus stations do we have in Millbrae?
There are 16 bus stops, 8 north and 8 south, all on El Camino. This is the El Camino route for Samtrans.
And how many of these stations are we looking to improve with this program?
So we are looking to improve 1 because Samtrans did their inventory and they identified 8 of our 16 to be in their near term. But of those 8, 7 of the 8 need a bus bulb. They need a sidewalk improvement before we can do the amenities. And we would not be able to do the sidewalk improvements working with Caltrans within the performance period, within the 2-year period, if we were to receive a grant. So I'm happy to explain that again.
So basically what I'm hearing here is only 1 out of the 16 station is even eligible based on the current site location.
Correct.
Where it is, and the sidewalk width is particularly has the space to even put in these improvements.
That's correct. But the good news is that it's a very frequent used and active bus stop. And it's the one Victoria and El Camino, and it is close to, our Caltrain and BART stop. So that is good. And it's in an equity priority area. So, we don't intend to stop, after this one. We hope that this will open the door for us to do more. But we'll need to work with Caltrans to do the bus bulbs, to adjust the sidewalks so that we can do the improvements on the other bus stops.
Does it have to do with the fact that after you put in this sort of a shelter, right, bus stop shelter, that it takes away the ADA accessibility on the sidewalk, therefore you require a certain amount of width in order for that to be implemented?
The bus bulb, what it's required, it's
Yeah.
actually, they're changing, I'm gonna just pull up a slide because it's a pretty interesting, it's a visual, and maybe I could ask our interim city clerk to please go to, it's called a bus bulb, and it's in my backup slides, and it is way back there. Says bus bulb, keep going. Next one. Yes, this one. Okay, so if you look at the picture on the left, the lower picture of the diagram by the parked car, so that is where the sidewalk would be, that is where the amenities would go. So that's where the bus stop would go. So the sidewalk would be moved kind of where the parking lane is. So then the key is, so right on top of that, where there's a sort of a blue, shaded blue line, a row, that's where the bus goes, and it doesn't have to go in and out. It does not have to curve in to the curb and come out, it just continues straight. So the buses stop in the travel lane without merging in and out of traffic. So the sidewalk is extended, and that's where the amenities are added on that extension there. It's called, I get this, they call it the bus bulb application. And so that's what needs to be done to 7 of the 8 near-term stops. And that's Caltrans right away, so we need to work with Caltrans.
What about the transit stations? Do we have any potential to getting that done? Because I do believe, you know, it's a very frequent location where bus pickup riders.
So some amenities at, you're saying at the Caltrain station? Or-
Yeah.
I would need to get back to you. I have not analyzed that. Is there something in particular you're envisioning, or?
Well, so obviously there's a drop-off and pickup area by,
Right,
you know, the BART Caltrain, you know, intermodal stations, right? So if there's a possibility to implement, you know, a
Shelters and
bus
things
shelter,
there. Yeah.
right, correct.
We could definitely take a look at that.
They seem to have much better space in terms of sidewalk and an island in the middle where all these pickup and drop-off can happen. Seems to me there's a potential there if you can look into that, because obviously that's also a spot that is quite frequently used. And I would imagine that's one of the busiest Samtrans pickup locations.
Happy to look into it. Thank you for your comment.
And in the longer run, how do we make sure we would be more qualified to getting these grants? And it seems to me part of it is the improvement of these sidewalks. And perhaps we should have a plan in place to make sure that we're ready
Yep.
in the near future.
Yep, and this is the Samtrans Bus Stop Improvement Program, BSIP. And so this like bulb out, this bus bulb, I believe is their new design, because typically they would come, the buses don't currently stop in the travel lane, they merge in and out of traffic. So I just wanted to comment that it's not that the city hasn't been doing this work, it's that Samtrans is now changing their buses so that they travel in the lane without merging in and out of traffic.
They move the goalposts.
Yeah, I think they're trying to improve the system and make it easier for riders.
Safer
Yeah.
for riders?
Yeah.
No, I understand.
But it does require more work.
Yeah, it's just, it would be nice for us to, you know, try to somehow find a way to improve our sidewalk and in ways that would enable us for these grant opportunities. I mean, between Measure A and Measure W, they do have a very healthy grant cycle and resources-wise. And one of the more frequent improvement that I keep hearing from the constituency, especially those transit riders, is how can we get a shelter there? Particularly useful during the raining season. A chair would be nice, a bench would be nice to have, but even if we don't have space for a bench, just a shelter, just a roof over people's head would be very, very helpful.
I was, what is the responsibility of Samtrans to provide those
Of course.
facilities rather than a municipality spending their dollars to do it? I think that's a Samtrans obligation. I mean, I appreciate the fact that the TA has grant funding.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. You know, they come up with the design, but what's the implementation? Where's the funding?
Yeah.
More to come, I guess.
More to come. I mean, we want to make sure that, you know, when these opportunities open up, right, call for project. You know, it's, I'm just hopeful that, you know, in the future, we can make sure that our infrastructure, sidewalk, all of that. I mean, I understand you just explained that this is a new requirement. We need to look into those and see how we can qualify.
But it would be nice to comprehensively with, 16, 8 on each side through the city, comprehensively do it at one time.
Yeah.
Right, and implement it. So we can look into that.
Yeah.
Especially since Samtrans is going to be one of our newest property owners.
That's true. That is true. That is true. And also, it's my understanding Samtran is looking at their future budget, and, it's looking more like they might be needing assistance in the near future from both Measure A on their operating cost. So, it's, I guess what I'm trying to say here is, if TA get this funding, get it when you can. It's hard to come by, given the state of their economy. So.
Agreed. Yep, and there are 8 in the near term stops that they've identified, 8 in Millbrae. And so, that is in their 3-year horizon to add these amenities, but we're just trying to speed it up, at least do what we can here in the city and get funding for that one at Victoria and El Camino.
Yeah, I definitely think we're on a good track. We roll out this first one, Mayor, and then we start applying for the comprehensive
Exactly.
implementation.
It's a foot in the door.
For the 16 stations, 8 north, 8 southbound.
Yeah. Okay, all right. Anyone else? Any public comment on this item? I don't have any speaker slips.
No speaker slips or hands raised.
Thank you very much. Closing public comment on item 14. Any final comments? Otherwise, we'll take a motion. We obviously want to apply for these grant funding opportunities. Okay, we have a motion from Mr. Rinaldi and also Mr. Nguyen. Any final comment? Your votes, please, ladies and gentlemen of the council.
Item 14 passes with a vote of 5-0.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Ms. Papajohn. Mr. City Manager.
And for the record, that is the revised 15% contingency to reflect the 10% contingency resolution for the record.
Yes, please. Thank you. All right. Council comments. Any volunteers? Mr. Rinaldi.
Thanks. I'd like to brief the public in regards to last weekend. We had a first for our CERT team. For those that don't know, CERT is a program that's comprised of CCFD, plenty of volunteers from our local community, neighboring communities like Hillsborough and Burlingame. And we had our first teen CERT boot camp. So we had 22 youths, mainly a lot of them Leos from Millbrae, that learned life skills like how to stop bleeding, how to put splints and apply them, safety procedures when doing search and rescue. It was an absolutely astonishing program. Can't speak highly enough of the youth that participated in it. We also had a couple residents from San Bruno, Burlingame as well, that joined in. And safe to say that there's a couple of those participants that'll probably end up being first responders in the near future. So seeing this firsthand was pretty inspiring. Program lasted 2 days, from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday, and then 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Sunday, with a graduation where Mayor Fung had produced commendations, which were signed by him and myself. City Manager Williams is in attendance, so we had a ceremony for the youth. All in all, great program, and just want to say a big thank you to all the CERT volunteers that invested all their time and effort to help make this a successful event, especially Kaz Chow from CCFD, who did most of the instructor work throughout the weekend. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Sorry, hate to be selfish here. One last quick PSA. For anyone that wants to go through CERT basic training, September 30th through October 25th is going to be the next session. Feel free to go on to CCFD, where they'll have a link to get to the CERT program so you could register for it. That's all.
Thank you. Anyone else? Councilmember Riley.
This Sunday, we Millbrae have a big event. Name is Middle Age Good Voice. I encourage everyone go there, take a look. They probably have food and lots of stuff going on. Then next Friday, August 1st, is Light Market in Station 16. Our Millbrae is only one launched this from the peninsula to all the way San Jose. Encourage you bring your friends, family, go there, support our business. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Riley. Anyone else? No, nothing? No? Mr. Vice Mayor?
Just very briefly, I attended the Cultural Arts Committee meeting last week. Unfortunately, I had to leave early before they got to their business, but at least I was able to give a fairly lengthy council update. I know they are discussing, I believe, an upcoming Dia de los Muertos event. And also, I think, some type of community tile project, I think, somewhere in the rec center, but I think still very much in the exploratory stages. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Anyone else? Councilmember Nguyen.
Also keep this brief, but I attended yesterday this event hosted in Millbrae of this Chinese artist right here. Apparently he invented this specific type of red for the types of painting he does. And he was able to kind of walk me through all the types of paintings. And he even went into details about like the history of China and all that. So I found that very entertaining. If anyone's interested, I'll leave this right here. Check it out. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councilmember Nguyen. The SB 63, which is the regional measure, is getting to the final phase of the discussion at both the Transportation Authority as well as at the Samtran board. It's likely that we're going to have some decision at the end of this month or early August, which is the deadline. So, you know, stay engaged. You know, it's coming down to the wire, and hopefully we'll make sure that we continue to stand up for San Mateo County and ensure all the riders get the resources they need, at the same time having the proper representation so that we can keep transit viable to those who need it every day. We are going to have a recess in August, so the next council meeting will be September 9th, if I'm not mistaken. And so everybody have a great summer, but I'm pretty sure we will stay busy here in the city of Millbrae as we continue to have many businesses that we need to attend to the business of the people. So with that said, unless there's anything else, City Manager, you have anything for us?
No, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you very much. So with that said, I adjourn this meeting. Oh,
Sorry, Mayor, it's not great. I would just like to thank Michelle Lee.
That's right.
For standing in as our interim city clerk while our city clerk has been on vacation. She's done an outstanding job for us and really appreciate it. So thank you, Michelle.
perfect. And just on that note as well, thank you so much for Michelle for standing up for all of us. And the promotion that you mentioned at the beginning of our meeting tonight, all the 3 women who serve in the city of Millbrae continue to uplift those who serve all of us and giving opportunity to everyone, especially to our women leadership in the city of Millbrae. Thank you very much for recognizing that. With that said, I adjourn this meeting tonight at 9:27 p.m. Thank you all.